Hello, everyone. Welcome to the parent meeting. You can leave your camera on or off. That's up to you. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, thank you. We're going to leave everyone muted so we don't have a lot of sound back and forth, but you'll be able to talk once you get to your breakout sessions with your child's classroom teacher. If you haven't already, if you can rename yourself according to your child so that I know who I'm looking at when I get ready to send you to the breakout rooms. If you have two children in two separate classes, name yourself according to which breakout room you'd want to go to. So you'll have to make a choice. We're recording the meeting today so that people who couldn't make it to this meeting can get the recording later. All right, I am going to get started. Miss Beverly, can you keep an eye on the waiting room in case I don't see someone? Thanks. All right, welcome to the school year. Hurrah, we made it. I am so excited. I know the other teachers are so excited to get back into a classroom, wherever that is. And I know that the kids that I've talked to this week and in the past couple of weeks are super excited to get back to school. So I'm really glad that we are able to do this. And thank you all for all of your patience and kindness and generosity and all of the compassion you all have shown over the last 6 months. It's been pretty amazing. And I know we have all seen lots of examples of that in the world in the last 6 months, but it is really nice to be a part of a community that's worked so hard to get through this together. So thank you. Thanks for being that community. It's wonderful. Today's meeting is going to be a little bit different than the parent meetings we usually have. Hopefully you're more comfortable and not sitting in tiny little chairs. But we're going to go over some whole school things first that will pertain to everyone, and then I'm going to dismiss the virtual parents to a meeting, a breakout room with Miss Beverly, because there's a lot of things that will happen in the school building that you don't really need to be concerned about because your students won't be in the building with us, so you don't need to hear us talk about that. But I'm going to start off with our mission statement, which I usually do. Our mission is to offer an authentic Montessori education to children ages 3 to 12 and provide a community of growth and peace for the students, parents, teachers, and our surrounding community. And we are still doing that this year. We are working very hard to maintain our Montessori education and our peaceful environment for everyone in our community. Our goals, as always, include independence, self-direction, responsible group membership, sense of justice, self-discipline, enjoyment of learning. And this year, we've had to add in as our goals meeting the standards of the Restart Plan for the state of Ohio, for the Department of Education, the CDC, the Public Health Department for Montgomery County. So we're doing a lot of things for that. Our primary concern is keeping our students and staff and families safe and healthy while we are educating them and participating in the community effort to stop the spread of the disease. So everything that we're going to talk about is pretty much aimed at that. Our school structure this year, we are smaller this year than we were last year. So right now we have, and for the foreseeable future, we have 9 students in our 3 to 6 class. 9 in our lower elementary class, 2 upper elementary students, and 11 virtual students, which kind of spans the age groups, the virtual class. And I just want to say the virtual students were so grateful to have Miss Beverly doing the virtual class for us so that those students can stay home, and that makes space for the rest of us to social distance in the school building, keeps your families safe in a way that makes you feel comfortable, and provides a bridge so that we can get them back in the building next year, which is really our goal. We want to be all back together when this is done. So we really appreciate the families that are making that happen, and Miss Beverly for pouring the last few months of her life into it, and everybody for participating in whatever way you have been. So thank you. Our school structure, our actual organization structure, we are run by a volunteer board, which is made up of me, Miss Beverly, and my husband, Ken Haponic. The administrative structure is myself as the administrator and head of school, and Miss Beverly as the assistant administrator. So you hear from both of us, probably me more often this year because Miss Beverly's got her hands full with the virtual stuff on school level items. Our lead teachers this year, and you all know that we've had a little bit of a change. I am still teaching the upper elementary lessons. Miss Kelly is back among us teaching the lower elementary lessons. If you don't know her, there she is. Would you like to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
And this year for our 3 to 6-year-old class, those of you who were with us last year know that Miss Stephanie is taking her long-awaited and much-deserved retirement. And our new, but not so new, 3 to 6 teacher is Miss Debbie.
Hello.
Miss Debbie's been working with Miss Stephanie all summer as her mentor and working through her Montessori training, her curriculum. I do have a bit of news for those of you who were with us last year. Miss Rosalind has decided to take this year off to stay home for her own health and the health of her family. So in her place as assistant for the 3 to 6 class, Miss Marla is going to be stepping in. So Miss Marla will be around both in the morning at daycare and for much of the day in the 3 to 6 classroom. So we all know that both Miss Debbie and Miss Marla are great with the kids and know them all very well already. So it's going to be a good year. And then we have Miss Beverly on one of her many hats as our virtual teacher.
Hello.
All right, so that's all of us. I am going to talk about communication right now. The communication structure, as I said, I'm the head of school and Beverly's the assistant head of administrator. If you have any questions over the course of the year regarding school policies, tuition, anything that's school level, or if you're having a hard time talking to your classroom teacher and nothing you've done has worked, which usually does not happen, you should contact me. I will be heading up the Smart Tuition Communications if you have a problem that can't be resolved through their help desk. And anything else that you need to do, you can contact us. And this year, please, email is great. And leaving a phone message is also good for us. We are trying to avoid back and forth of items between home and school, as you can imagine. So we are discouraging paper notes, but if that's what you've got, that's okay. You can send in a paper note, but we would prefer a quick phone message or an email so that we don't have things going back and forth. And that's how we'll communicate with you as well. If you have a question about something that's happening in your child's classroom, curriculum-wise or behavior-wise, please talk to the lead teacher in your child's class. Again, you can initiate that conversation via email because you are going to hear from Miss Kelly and Miss Debbie and Miss Beverly and myself via email this year. So you can directly email them, or you can leave a phone message saying that you would like a call back. We are not going to be having adults in the building as often as possible because we want to cut down on the number of people who have contact with the children and just the general number of people in the building. So we're going to discourage coming in and chatting, but we'll check the phone messages, we will look at our emails, and we will call you back right as soon as we have a moment. And we won't be having driveway conferences as well because we're going to try not to have that kind of face-to-face contact as often as possible. We will be sending home newsletters at least once a month, more often if there are things that we need to talk about. So you will be getting those newsletters as you have been all summer long. And we are going to have these Zoom parent meetings every other month, and they are on the calendar. You should have seen them. It will be this same Zoom ID and password, so hold on to that. They aren't mandatory, and they might be shorter. Well, they definitely will be shorter because this is the beginning of the year. They might just be kind of an opportunity for questions and answers, or just to catch you up on what's been going on, because I know you won't be in the building as often as you're used to. So keep an eye on that, and of course we'll send email reminders about those. We will still be having progress reports at normal times and conferences at normal times, but the conferences will be via Zoom, as will all of our non-student activities this year. And that pertains to everyone. Miss Beverly is going to have conferences at the same time for virtual students that we are for the in-person students. And if you need a conference before conference time, you are welcome to reach out to your child's teacher to talk to them, whether that's just a quick phone conversation or if you feel like there's an issue that needs a regular sized conference, and your teacher might also contact you if they think something needs talking about as well. We won't be having PTO activities this year, unfortunately, to cut down on contact. So that is another thing we will resume later once we get through this year. The other things for everyone, we are going to be offering the virtual music class with Miss Erin, who's in there. Would you like to say hi, Miss Erin?
Hello.
She's going to be doing, much like in the spring, a leveled virtual class on Tuesday afternoons after school hours. So all of the students are invited to that, virtual students and in person. In our classrooms, we will be adding in some music activities, but it won't be singing because that is not an activity that is encouraged right now. So they will sing virtually with Miss Erin. And in school, the teachers might add in some more music activities in the classroom. And we are also going to offer a virtual social time during after school hours, so that, and it will be open to everyone, virtual and in-person students, so that all of the students can still maintain contact with their friends if they want to. We're going to send an email home next week with information about those things, so you can sign up for the virtual social time if you would like, just like in the spring for the elementary students. If you remember that, it was just an option for the kids to get together on Zoom and do their thing. And I don't think we did that with the 3 to 6 class in the spring though. And then the virtual music class, you'll get the contact information about that. You don't have to sign up, just show up during the proper time, and we'll let you know what time is appropriate for your child. Does anybody have any questions at this time? The rest of the information that I have is about in-person things. So hold on the in-person social distancing hand sanitizer questions for a moment. I will get to that. There is a reaction button. If you have a question, you can raise a hand on that, I think. No questions? All right. Great. I'm going to pause for a moment here, and I'm going to send all of the virtual students to a breakout room with Miss Beverly. If you've never done this before, you're going to get a pop-up that says you've been invited to a breakout room, and you should choose to go there. So just a minute. All right, I think I got everyone. Miss Beverly, are you not able to get back? You got it? I don't know whose iPhone is named iPhone, so I don't know what class you're in. All right. Does anybody else need to be sent to the virtual class? I don't think so. All right. Okay, so for the rest of this, I'm going to talk only about the things that we've changed right now. So if you are new to the school and you need to know anything else that I don't talk about, please do ask at the end or ask your classroom teacher, because I'm only going to talk about the changes because there's so many. We are we have a lot of procedural and physical changes in the classrooms based on the 5 health guidelines that we have to follow, like every school in the state has to follow in order to safely restart. So I'm going to just go through those 5 guidelines, and it's the same things that I sent earlier this summer in the document that had the 5 guidelines outlined on it, and it's all in the handbook as well. Please read the handbook very carefully if you have any doubt at all about knowing any of this. It's on the website, and you will get a paper copy soon. So the first one is assessing for symptoms. We are going to take the children's temperature every day when they come in with a touchless thermometer. Takes a second. So they will get used to me asking them, can I take your temperature? And then, how do you feel today? Do you have any sore throat? Are you coughing? All of those things. You should have already, of course, assessed them at home and not sent them if they had that, but you can let them know if they don't know already that that's going to happen first thing when they walk through the door every day. We are all going to be really strict about following the guidelines of not coming to school with any symptoms. Even though I know that it's bad allergy season, I also wake up with a scratchy throat and then take my allergy pill and then it goes away, and I know it was allergies. And I know that's really challenging for some people, but in order to make sure we have a school year where we can be in the building, we're all going to be really, really, really strict about following those guidelines. Because that might mean we spend some days at home that we wouldn't have in previous years. We are putting up information activities on the online platform that your child's teacher will tell you about in a little bit, so that they can do some things when they're at home. If they have those days where they stay home, but they're still feeling well enough to do some work. So you will be able to access some activities with them so they're not just sitting there staring at the TV. That's not a good thing to do either. So we really appreciate your participation in making sure that we don't have any chance of transmitting unnecessarily. We will be participating in isolating and quarantining and contact tracing and closing as need be. We all of the schools in the state are mandated to report if we have a positive test case. So please, if your child is absent and they are experiencing symptoms but not tested, please call and let us know so we can watch out for it. And that's not to be reported, that won't be reported. But if they are tested for COVID and you receive a positive test result, we will report it to public health so that they can initiate contact tracing, and we will be keeping track of our seating charts, which we have never had before, but this year we will have seating charts. The students will have assigned seats, and we will know who they sat near. We are trying to keep them in their workspaces 6 feet apart, and because our class sizes are small, we'll be able to do that for the most part, but we are still going to keep track of who they were 6 feet away from, who they might have shared a lunch table with, even though there was a divider in between them, just so that we can participate well and head those things off if need be. You will get an email if there is a positive test case from us, and we will post it on the website as well. Of course, with nobody's names attached, just that there was a positive case. The second guideline is hand washing and sanitizing. Of course, we always encourage the children to wash their hands many times per day, but we will be even more vigilant about it. Thank you to all of you who have donated so much soap and hand sanitizer and paper towels. We will use them. We have bottles of hand sanitizer in every room. The new students who came in for orientations this week got some introductions to the thermometer and the hand gels, so we will be encouraging use of that. If you haven't addressed those things with your child, please do so before next week. How to properly, get that hand sanitizer everywhere, how to properly wash your hands up to the wrists and get in between. I was showing some young students today how to open the doorknob of the bathroom with a paper towel, which I totally recognize that we often don't even let our kids open the door when they're that young, when they're, in a public space, but they'll have to at school. So that's a good thing to be thinking about. And in the elementary, we will not be using those cloths that we were using, which are fantastic for the environment, but we will be using paper towels this year. We have to put a pause on our trying not to make so much trash this year. The guideline number 3 is clean, sanitize, and limit sharing materials. So we will be cleaning the school building daily, more than daily. We will be cleaning all the things all the time. We will have our weekly professional cleaning, and we have them on standby for emergency cleanings. If we were to feel like we absolutely needed a Wednesday night cleaning, they know that we might call them immediately. But we will also be wiping things down as often as we can get to them, and definitely in between students. I know that Montessori is based in using the hands-on materials, and the students often share those. So we have what we're calling dirty bins, which is where the students are going to put their materials after they've used them. So they will not be putting them back on the shelf after they've touched them and having another student pick them up. The material, for example, the stamp game, if somebody uses the stamp game to do their math, it will go into the dirty bin when they're done, which means nobody else can use it until a teacher has sanitized it or it stays away for 3 days so that the germs can die. This means that some things won't be available as often, but mostly it'll be okay. We are going to clean things on a daily basis if we only have one copy, but we have also ordered and purchased multiple copies of some things and gotten things out of storage that maybe they weren't quite as beautiful and new, but they will be useful so that we can replace them on the shelves and have more copies. And as you know, there's less students. So we think that we will be okay in that regard as far as having materials available. So your students might talk about the dirty bin, and that's what they're talking about. That's where things go. Books, toys, materials that one person used until they're clean enough for another person to use again. And they're big and gray and ugly, so they're the dirty bins. So that's the shared materials. The social distancing is guideline number 4. So to encourage social distancing, we have our small class sizes, which is great. We are going to eat lunch outside as often as possible. Each student has, what are we calling that? The lunch mat? Is that what we're calling it, Miss Kelly? Okay. Each student has a lunch mat which is what they will sit on when they go outside. So we won't be sitting together on the big lovely quilt for our picnic. We will each have our separate lunch mat so they can spread out, take their masks off, and eat lunch. We will do that as often as possible for both age groups. As we said in the previous communications, they are not going to be using dishes and things like that even inside. They're going to be eating out of their lunch boxes just to reduce getting things out and touching them and all of that business. So it's not what we would prefer, but it's what we're going to do to be safe. When we have to eat inside, we have, as I said, ordered dividers for the tables so that 2 students could sit on opposite ends of a table with a big plexiglass divider in the middle, but they haven't come yet. As you can imagine, all of the schools have ordered all of the things at the same time. So until we get that in and installed, we will sit at separate tables, separate from each other, and that might mean the elementaries eating upstairs and downstairs or something, but we'll separate. But that's only if it gets too cold and we don't have those dividers in, or if it's pouring rain or something. For arrival and dismissal, we won't be walking the students to the cars to avoid the teacher coming to the car and leaning in. We're going to ask parents to bring the kids to the porch or to come to the porch and take the children from us. There's less of you driving through the driveway, so it shouldn't really be a big deal slowing things down. Should be okay, but please, please, because of this, be very careful in the driveway, because parents and children will be walking around in the driveway more than usual. And please do not drive past somebody who's walking their child around. We've seen way too many kids dash away from an adult in the driveway, and it's really scary for us. So please be really patient and careful in the driveway. Daycare, we're asking you to just walk to the doorway. We're not going to have you sign your students in and out. We'll just record the time for you because we don't want to share pens. So we don't want to pass things back and forth. And as I said, all the non-student activities will be held via Zoom. So we will not be having parent meetings in the building. We won't be having birthdays, celebrations in the building. We won't be doing observation night, though we're working on figuring out some ways to have you come in and see your students' works, because we really do want to do that, but we have to do it in a way that doesn't have all of you there at the same time. So we will be in touch about those things. We won't be doing tours of new students while other people are in the building. And as I said, we're assigning desks and rugs, so students won't be sharing desks or rugs, so that they have their own workspace, they have their own cubbies, they have their own lockers this year. Instead of a coat rack where their coats are right up against each other, they each have a little wooden locker where their things will go in, and so it's separate from other people's things. So they will see that on the first day if they haven't been in already. All right, so guideline number 5 is the face covering policy. You're all aware of this. Everyone's required to wear a mask in the building, on the property, covering the mouth and nose. It should fit. We have many extras. Thank you to everyone who donated. If someone forgets a mask or gets it dirty or wet, needs a replacement and doesn't have an extra, we have disposable masks to give the students that are student-sized, as well as adults. So the students who I have seen recently seem to be wearing their masks just fine. They seem to be really good at it. So I really applaud you for setting a good example, because that's all it takes, is setting a good example and explaining the situation at their level. So I am confident that that's going to work. And I've had the question asked, what if they take their mask off? And we will, like always, remind them kindly of the rules. Remind them to put it back on. We will be reminding them not to touch their face, and I imagine we'll say that a lot because they touch their faces a lot. And we'll try to remind them also not to play with their masks and adjust it too much, because you don't want to touch your face or your mask and pick up germs on your hands, and we'll probably have to send them to wash their hands an awful lot this year. All right. I'm not used to talking this much. I haven't had to talk to someone for this much for a long time. Today's been a talky day. Does anybody have any questions before we go to our individual class breakout rooms? Nope. All right, awesome. I am going to, I changed it to allowing people to unmute themselves, Miss Debbie and Miss Kelly, so that they can unmute in your classes if you like. And I am going to put everybody into a breakout room. Trisha, where are you going to go?
Well, I was just about to send you a message. I'm going with Miss Kelly.
Sounds good.
She's more Angelica in the learning stage.
Absolutely. All right, so I am going to pause here. Stretch your legs if you need to, and filter you all into the right classrooms. Miss Marla, did you get a breakout invitation? I can't hear you.
It's for class from 6 to 9 years old.
Hold on. How about now?
That one's better. Thank you.
Hi, Jude.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
All right. So you're the only one here, so I get to talk real fast at you, and then you get to ask me questions.
But Alia will be in your class. She's just, her mom's in the other group.
Alia's mom could not divide herself into two people today, so she went with Angelica, which is appropriate. All right, Jude. So welcome to Upper Elementary. This year we have 2 whole upper elementary students, which is perfect because we will have no problem in distancing. And we really shouldn't have a problem with sharing materials because they shouldn't be in the same place in really any area of the curriculum. And when they are, we probably have duplicates. So that's kind of a great thing for those 2, but I think they're close enough in their interests and abilities that it'll be fun. So we will also have a dirty bin, but I don't imagine that I'm going to have to use it very often. We have 50 cans of Lysol waiting to be used. It's a large container of Lysol.
50 cans of what?
Cleaner.
Oh.
We will be cleaning like crazy people after school. All right, so this year we are going to be using a platform called Seesaw as our online platform. We are going to send you information about it next week so that it's available to you. Anytime Jude might stay home if he had symptoms and you kept him home just in case, and we were still at school, he could still access Seesaw and get some work done on those days. It's great because even if we had a big blizzard, we don't have to count those snow days because everybody could still be working from home.
That's actually really cool.
It is really cool. I'm going to keep that for future years, I think. So my philosophy on the Seesaw, because our goal here is to stay in school for the whole year. So my philosophy and approach is not going to be to replicate our classroom on Seesaw. It's going to be to provide parallel activities to the curriculum. So unless we actually had to go into quarantine for a long period of time, I'm not going to be loading up the same things that he's doing at school. I don't want him to be going home and then going, wait, did I do that card already? He shouldn't have to think about that. It should just be there, with the exception of some of the research projects that we're doing. But at his age, he will know exactly what he's already done and what the next step is. So some of the things, like the journal prompts that I give them, will be the same list of journal prompts on Seesaw and at school that he can choose from. But he'll remember if he did it or not. Same continent to study and do research on, but at school he'll do book research and at home he can do internet research. So it'll just be complementary and parallel. So you'll get information about that next week. As I said in the big meeting, he can attend the music classes. His age group is going to be from 5 to 5:30, I think. It's not the best time if you're early eaters, but it's once a week. It's 5 to 5:30 on Tuesdays. He can go or not go. And then the social time will be at 4 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays, I think. Now I realize that Jude might still be at daycare.
Yeah.
There will not be a lot of daycare kids there. So if he's the only one sitting there with me while I'm running the social time, I will ask him if he wants to look at my computer and interact with students.
We're really not really sure how much we'll utilize daycare. I know we paid for it already, but our schedule is kind of weird. I'm working from home mostly full time, with some exceptions.
I want to be at daycare. I like daycare.
I know. I just don't know if it'll be every day all the time. We'll have to figure that out. But so like Graham has to work from home in the mornings.
Yeah,
And
I work
I go
12
in
to
some
5,
mornings, so-
12 to 5 currently in the afternoons.
But some of my online classes start at 8 a.m. So there will be times where I'll probably bring them over before I start class. So it's,
Right.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Did you see our kittens?
You have new kittens?
Oh, I can show you them right now. One.
Okay.
They're not quite so tiny anymore, but they were born at the beginning of May.
Oh my goodness, how cute.
He's a
What's it-
sweet one. He
what's
really,
his name?
really, he really likes me.
I think she asked what his name is.
His name's Gildred. He snuggles with me all the time.
Well, that's really nice. You got some new pets while you were at home so much to take care of them.
Yep.
These are actually cats that Jude met long before we did because they were feral cats from down the road. And he got to hang out with them a lot. And then he was there when the foster person helped capture them to take them in. And he was very sad about that. So he talked about adopting a pair of them. And so we did.
That's
Yeah, another one. It's a calico one. She's crazy.
Ah.
She attacks your shoes, and then if she can't wear your shoes, she tries to eat your shoes.
Mm. I did walk by a house on Gander the other day that had an awful lot of cats out front. Did they come from that area?
What does it look like?
Yes, he is.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's taken care of them before when she was out of town. So he's made good friends with the woman who lives there.
What does that look like?
Oh,
There
they're
are a lot
real
of cats in
black.
our neighborhood, Jude.
There was a
There's
calico one and a black one.
The calico one is their mom, I think.
Cool.
There's a gray one.
Okay, let's go back to the topic. You can tell her more about it at school. Okay.
Jude, you and I are going to have a lot of time together.
There's 9 cats,
Don't you worry. We're going to talk all the time.
and I've met all of them.
Okay, Jude.
So the curriculum that we're going to, the math and language, of course, is going to be just a continuation of where Jude is. We'll be doing reading groups still. He and Alia are in a fine place to be reading together.
Mhm.
I think they will enjoy it. For science, we're going to do chemistry. So we're going to be studying the periodic table and looking at different elements, doing experiments with various things like acids and bases. And that's another thing I'm going to be posting on Seesaw is some at-home experiments so they can mirror the concepts that we're learning at school, but with, kitchen type things.
Do I get to watch things blow up?
I don't know if I would characterize it as blowing up, but there may be a chemical reaction.
You can maybe watch things blow up online.
Maybe that. Maybe that.
You could, Jude, you could tell her about the reflex game, the acids and bases game that we've got.
Oh yeah, you have this
Oh, the ninja
The
game?
ninja game.
yeah, it's really really fun. There's this really fun game that we have where you have to use elements to
Like compounds.
yeah, and then each of the compounds give you a different amount of points, and you can if you have 10 points, you win.
Oh, cool.
It is
it's
a very
really
good
fun.
introduction to chemistry, but you probably can't play it at school because of sharing cards.
Yeah.
But maybe by the end of the year things will be better, and that'll be a possibility.
I hope so. We have a kit, a molecule building kit at school that we're going to use, where you take the atoms and build a molecule together with them, and it explores
Actually,
bonding. So it'll probably be really similar concepts to what you've already learned. So cool. For history, we're going to do American history. We're going to start with Columbus arriving in the Caribbean. And I've been doing a lot of reading this year on American history and American history falsehoods. So we're going to be reading multiple texts that represent history in multiple ways. And so there may be some controversial topics this year, just having to do with people's perceptions of our history and heroes and those kind of concepts.
I think that's awesome.
I'm so excited for school.
I think it's important.
Yes, I agree.
This
I
year-
haven't read it yet, but there's a book that was recommended to me called Guns, Germs, and Steel. That talks, I think, that goes into a lot about like early colonization of the United States. It's upstairs on my nightstand. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet.
I will look for that. We are going to be reading,
Let me get some water.
the students will be reading from this sometimes.
Okay, yeah, I've got the older version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
and I just started, this is not a children's book. I just finished Lies My Teacher Taught Me. And it's startling and really good. I'm going to make my 17-year-old read it next. He's really into American history. So that's what our history is going to be. For the geography, they're going to each choose their own continent, so they won't have to share maps. And then they're going to use that continent, at least for the first half of the year, to study countries and also, do country research and biome research and stuff, so that they can just have their own sets of materials. And that's what they're doing in lower elementary too, just assigning different continents instead of everyone starting in the same place, because why not? We don't have to be Western centric. Start with Asia. Yeah, so that's geography. We'll still be doing other areas of the curriculum as they normally are, just probably using a lot more individualized materials, paper copies of things. Instead of Spanish, we're going to be learning American Sign Language through a video series that I found that's on YouTube for free, and it's really good. So I'm going to link that to the Seesaw account as well, so that they can continue looking at it at home. It's aimed at college students, but I'm going to break the videos down into manageable increments. And I took sign language in college as well, so I'm a little bit familiar with it. So I'm going to break things up and give them study sheets and repeat things with them.
Learn sign language.
Well, sign language is your foreign language, isn't it? Well, it's not really foreign, but as your language this year.
And that'll be useful without the masks. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Something where we don't have to talk. So that'll be good. For PE this year, we're going to do running again. We'll probably start with running in the fall, and then yoga in the winter, so we can do it inside, and short court tennis in the driveway in the spring. So we're going to have it just at school. Or maybe by spring everything's better, but we're going to plan on not going out for anything. And that's our plan. Do you guys have any questions?
You have questions, Bud?
He's very eager to be back at school. He's been pretty bored the last few weeks since I started work.
Oh, yeah. I bet. Everyone's super excited.
I've watched like 10 movies since you started work.
Are they still going to do interest fair at the end of the year, and then like present things remotely?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do snakes.
Yeah, he didn't end up following through on his earlier plan, so he's hoping. I don't think he did. I think he could certainly do a lot more research on the topic if he's able to keep the same topic and become more of an expert, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine with me. In fact, I chose a snake as your seesaw icon. Is that okay? I decided you were the snake and Alia was the cat.
That sounds about perfect.
Sounds like a safe choice.
I figured it would be okay.
It is okay. What kind of snake?
Do we need to know more today about Seesaw, or is that something?
If you feel like getting ahead, there's plenty of tutorials online, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm going to send, I think I can send my emails on Monday with your login information, and it should be relatively easy to sign in the first time, and then each time if he's using the same device, he'll be automatically logged in. So I'm still learning the system because it's a new platform to us, but there will be a few assignments on there next week so that you can just kind of experiment. But I will send instructions on Monday.
Is it kind of like Canvas?
I haven't accessed Canvas. My husband's using that, but I imagine it has the same functions because they kind of all do. I do like that. The thing I don't like about Seesaw is the way the assignments are posted just chronologically. So it does make it a little bit challenging, but we are investigating and experimenting with using folders so that the students can think, all right, I'd like to do a math work, and look just in their math folder.
Okay.
It's really designed for students who are getting daily assignments from their teachers, and that's not how we work.
Yeah.
So I don't want everything to just all of a sudden be there and they've got 50 things to scroll through.
Yeah.
Trying to organize it into folders is the thing that we're doing to accomplish that. But one of the best things I think about it is that they can turn in assignments in a variety of media. They can draw and write on the text screen, but they can also do videos and photographs and recordings of their voices. So some of the assignments might be, write this journal, but then you can turn it in by taking a picture of it if you wrote it, by hand, or you can type it, or you can read it to me in a video, which I bet Jude would really enjoy. You can, there's options for them to link something later on if they get real tech savvy about it. So I do like that, especially for the younger students, the non-readers. It makes turning in work a lot easier.
One thing that just kind of made me think of is, do you have any, do you ever do typing work with the upper elementary kids?
We used to, we haven't recently, but this might be a good year for doing it.
Because I was wondering if you had any, like, if you don't do it in school, if you had any recommendations for a good program that works well for kids their age.
I will look. I had a program a long time ago that I really enjoyed with my students, but I don't know if it's up to date. So
yeah,
I will look.
I tried taping.com, but the computer kept glitching every 10 seconds, so I decided to stop.
Yeah, you don't want to glitch every 10 seconds. We used to use Type to Learn, but it was a long time ago. So I will take a look at that.
How long have you been a teacher?
How long have I been a teacher? For about 18 years. Does that sound like a long time? It does sound.
Twice as long as you've been alive, bud.
It's so strange since I'm only like 23 years old, so.
What? Does that mean
Yeah, she started teaching when she was
7?
not quite 5.
So young.
Oh man, you've been teaching for a long time.
18 years it does sound like a large number. Yeah. Goes
Well, it
fast.
feels weird for me. I'm on my 7th year of teaching now, and I'm 37, so that seems really strange, but I did take quite a lot of time off.
Yes.
And I didn't get my degree in education, so it took me a few years after college before I found my way there.
Yeah, I didn't start teaching until when when Ezra was born. Before that, I was doing other things. So, yeah, time flies.
You have no more questions about upper elementary stuff that you're curious about?
No, but the other kitty's in the room now.
She's hiding. Any other questions?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. He's pretty good about mask wearing. So I've tried to recall, I think I emailed you about this earlier in the summer. Do you want us to send in a plastic bag with his lunchbox for putting his mask in?
Yeah, if you think of putting one in there, that would be good, just so he has it and doesn't have to ask for it. If you forget, we'll have them.
And is it supposed to be disposable, or is a reusable one okay?
A reusable one's fine because it's just going to stay with him.
Okay.
And go back in his lunchbox.
Did you see the kitten?
I did. It's really cute.
That's the crazy one.
I can see why you wanted to take them home with you.
Her name is Bellatrix.
They're even cuter and they're smaller. Oh, they're so adorable.
Nature makes baby animals adorable for a reason, I think.
What is it?
So that they are kept safe.
Yeah, so other animals want to take care of them because we have a tendency to want to care for things that are cute, right?
Is that actually why God made them cute?
I think that's a big part of it, yeah.
What are you eating?
Something you probably shouldn't be eating.
Are you done, Miss Kelly? Okay. See you. I won't see you tomorrow, but have a good day tomorrow.
Thank you. You too.
I won't be in.
Bye, Miss Kelly.
Hello. How are you doing?
Just one more.
Good.
I am so excited to see you. I'll stop interrupting your meeting now. Bye.
Even though you're not going to be
Done.
teaching me.
Well, I'm sure she can still teach you things, even though she's not your official teacher.
You'll have plenty of interaction with Miss Kelly, I'm sure. All right. Trisha, I will send you the recording so that you can hear what we were talking about with upper elementary. All righty. All right, Jude, if you don't have any other questions, I guess we're all good.
I'm sure I can think of one more. What's your favorite movie?
I don't really have favorites because my preferences change so often.
Okay, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Yeah,
She just said she doesn't have favorites.
I
So
don't
you gotta
really
think
have
of a
favorites.
question that's not about favorites.
What's your favorite color?
Jude,
Oh.
listen to what we're saying. A question
I
that
mean,
is
I could
not what
answer
is your
it, but
favorite.
it would be different. My answer would be different tomorrow, probably.
How many cousins do you have?
Wow.
I have 17.
Oh, that's a lot. I don't think I have 17. I think I have 10.
Yeah.
I have 10 cousins.
Cool.
Are you looking forward to having a smaller class size in school?
No.
How old are you?
I'm 46. How
All
old
right,
are
I think we can let you go.
Aw.
How old are you?
All right, you think of all your questions. Feel free to write them down, and you can interview me on the
Okay.
first day of school. Okay.
That's a good skill to practice.
Was your hair always red?
No, it's not red at all. In fact,
Oh, it isn't.
that's fake.
Fake.
You will see when you get to school my real hair color. It's right here.
It just looks like a blurry mess of orange and yellow in the screen.
Orange
Well,
and
I
yellow?
think by mess
It
he
looks-
means that your screen is slightly blurry. Not that you're a mess.
It looks orange, yellow, purple, and green right now.
I'm a fan of honest reactions.
Really?
I am. My hair is brown.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. But I like red hair, so.
All right, well, we will be seeing you next week. Thanks
Yep.
for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night. See you
You
Tuesday.
too.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.